Hey guys, this is the horoscope for Scorpio for the upcoming Taurus season starting on the 20th of April until the 20th of May. So we have a very interesting month ahead with lots of astrological events, and first let's say what we are going to cover in this video. So we're going to talk about the transit Sun in Taurus and Mercury going back to Aries. We have Mars entering Gemini, a new moon in Taurus, Venus moving to Aries, Mercury going direct, a full moon in Scorpio Taurus, a north node entering Leo and south node entering Aquarius, and Mercury moving back to Taurus. So you can see a lot of astrological events which should bring probably a very big shift for all of us. And let's find out how it will influence you personally, Scorpio. So on the 20th of April, we have the transit Sun entering Taurus. So here it is, Taurus, and for you this will be in your 7th house. So during this whole month, the transit Sun is moving through your 7th house. 7th house is about relationships, about communication with others, about interacting with other people closely. So probably this is going to be the main focus for you during this next month. Whatever you try to do, it would be more successful if you try to attract a partner in your project, or consult with another person, or find a way to take advantage of the opinion of other people. So that can bring you success and can help you for your personal realization, because the sun represents our personality and our desires, what we would like to achieve, and it's really strongly related with our focus. So the sun moving through your 7th house means that you yourself can be more successful if you try to interact with others, to have relationships or partnerships. It can be, of course, a romantic relationship, but a business relationship as well. But whatever you do, try to cooperate with others, to listen to their opinion, to take to use the experience of other people. On the same day, actually on the 20th of April, we have also the transit Mercury, which is retrograde, moving back to Aries, which for you will be in your 6th house. So as we know, Mercury retrograde requires from us to be very careful with all kind of information, with taking decisions, how we are planning things, especially with the small details. And very often there might be some kind of complications, misunderstandings, mistakes. So for you, this will affect mostly the area of work and communication with work associates, but in general your work environment. So be sure that you check everything, that you don't miss some important details. Try to avoid signing new contracts, especially related with your work. Try to avoid, for example, going to interviews for starting a new job. Probably that won't be very successful for you. At the same, also try to avoid business trips if they aren't really necessary for you. In case that you really need to do that, then be sure that you have checked everything twice, that you're prepared, that there might be some kind of delays, that time probably won't be as you have planned it. Also, at the same time, it can be a positive transit if you want to restart something that you have started previously and you have left. For example, this can be an old work project, a business project, or for example, for those who would like to return to a place that they have previously worked at, or work associates that you have worked before. Everything related with the past can now be restarted, and in your case that's mostly in terms of work and career. So if you want to restart an old work project, Mercury retrograde in 6th house can be very supportive transit. Next we have On the 22nd of April, the transit Mars entering Gemini. So here it is Mars, which enters Gemini and your 8th house. So the transits of Mars are long lasting. They last around 2 months. So this is a very intense energy that's coming, because Mars is related with our physical efforts, with our physical power, what we are concentrating on, but not only our attention, but our activity, our efforts. And we should say that also Mars is the traditional ruler of 8th house, the Scorpio. So and it rules your own sign actually. So that's actually a very important transit for you. And you can put a lot of efforts on earning money, because that's one of the meanings of 8th house. So if you want to attract support from other people, finances, to increase your income, to attract partners to invest in your project, then Mars in 8th house is a great transit. We should always be aware that Mars brings some kind of tension, that we might be really impatient, we might be so much focused on something that we may burn for it. So be prepared that it's possible to have some kind of conflicts about money with other people. So just try to be more careful. So yeah, but for attracting finances, for putting physical efforts in order to earn more money, or to attract someone else to invest in your project, Mars in 8th house can be actually a very positive transit. So next we have on the 26th of April a new moon in Taurus. So we already said the sun is transiting your 7th house, so that's where the new moon is going to be in your horoscope. And we know that the new moons are great for putting the beginning of something, for starting and growing something new. And in your case, it's mostly related with partnerships and relationships. So for those of you who would like to start a new relationship, actually this lunation can be great. That's probably the best time of the year when you can start a new relationship or partnership. Of course, it's both romantic relationships and business partnership. They're both equal in this case. So if you would like, for example, to attract a partner in your business, or you would like to work with another person, to have a close communication with others, so this new moon can actually help you to put the beginning of this new partnership. And of course, we should always wait around 2 days after the new moon, when the moon is going to be visible, and after that you have a green light for these new projects with other people mostly. So next we have on the 28th of April Venus entering Aries. So Venus enters Aries and your 6th house. And this transit can actually bring more harmony in your work environment. So for example, you can improve even the atmosphere on your workplace, or you may start to feel more comfortable there, or communication with work associates might become more fluent. At the same time, Venus is related with our emotions, so you may notice that you're more emotional about your work, that you're really putting a lot of feelings into that. Sometimes it might be too much, because Aries is a very dramatic sign related with explosive emotions. So you may notice that you just put a lot of feelings into your work. At the same time, we should pay attention that previously we had Venus retrograde in the same sign and house, so in Aries in your 6th house, which might have brought some kind of problems in terms of work and communication with work associates. So now that Venus is going direct through the same sign and house in your horoscope, you may have the opportunity to find the solutions that you have searched for. to improve your situation and to fix the problems generally in your work, especially after after the 3rd of May, when we have also the transit Mercury turning direct in the same sign, so in Aries again in your 6th house. In general, we should say that the situation about your work should improve, because we had both Venus and Mercury retrograde in this sign in Aries in your 6th house. So it's very possible that something about your work haven't been really fluent, things haven't been very positive for you, or there might have been some kind of problems. But now, so from the 3rd of May, when we have both Venus and Mercury direct in the same sign and house, you may find the needed solutions, and in general the situation about your work should improve. So you have a green light for starting new projects and concentrating more on your work. So that's very good news for your work actually. And after that, on the 10th of May, we have a full moon in Scorpio Taurus. So the transit sun is in Taurus in your 7th house, and the transit moon is in Scorpio in your 1st house. So the full moon activates the axis that represents your communication with others, your personal behavior, which is 1st house, and your partner and communication with the other person. So from one side, the full moon can bring the opportunity to put to realize something, to materialize something in terms of relationship. So for example, you can start this partnership, or there might be a culmination of this area. So that's a lot of intense energy in your relationships. At the same time, every full moon activates 2 houses which are opposing each other, so 7th and 1st house, which means that you can feel like two polarities are stretching you, and you need to find the balance between these 2 areas. So the 2 sides and the 2 polarities are actually your personal desires, your own activities and plans, and what the other person requires from you, your relationship and partnerships. So you may need to find the balance between these 2 areas, and it's interesting that the sun represents our conscious mind. So consciously you may try to coordinate with another person, to cooperate, to be more compromising, to try to please the other person. But the moon represents our unconscious motives and patterns. So unconsciously you may try to stick to your own behavior, to be more focused on your personal desires, and that's the time when you can realize, you can get a clearer idea about your behavior in your relationship. What are your personal desires? Because here is the unconscious, here is what you need to realize. It's related with your personal desires, with your what will suit you best in terms of relationships. So that's a very interesting lunation for you. Next, we have a very karmic transit. So on the 5th of May, we have the North Node entering Leo. So here is the North Node, which enters Leo and your 10th house, which means that the opposing node, the South Node, enters Aquarius and your 4th house. This is a transit that lasts for around a year and a half, and it brings, like life changes, really big changes in our life. The North Node has a very similar influence to Jupiter, so it expands things, it brings new opportunities, it brings growth. So for you, this 1 year and a half will bring new opportunities and growth, mainly in your career. So that's going to be probably a very productive time for your work. So if you concentrate on that area, you have really the opportunity to expand there, to achieve a success, and to be really fulfilled with your career. So actually that's everything, which includes your social status, your reputation. So that's the main area where you should concentrate your efforts, and you will be rewarded for that. You will achieve growth and success. On the other hand, the South Node has a similar influence to Saturn, so it requires from you to, to set free from something. It may bring some kind of restrictions, possible difficulties in this area, and in general you shouldn't concentrate so much on that concrete area. So for you, that's related with fourth house. So everything related with your family, everything related with home, with staying more isolated. You shouldn't do that during the next 1 year and a half. During the 1 year and a half is about being more socially active, working for your career and reputation, and not staying on private and concentrating so much on personal stuff and things related with family and home. And finally, so on the 16th of May, we have the transit Mercury entering Taurus and your 7th house. So that's a very positive transit that can be related with establishing, communicating more with others, new relationships, getting, in touch with other people, receiving some ideas from others, taking advantage of their experience, and being able, to find compromises, to make compromises. So that's a great transit for those of you who would like to communicate more with others, especially close communication, and to improve their communication with their personal, their own partner. So in general, we should say that the month is very interesting with lots of astrological events. The main focus for you is about other people, about communicating with them, about having relationships, and trying to be more compromising when you communicate with others. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I will wait for you next month again.